Have you been wondering what it's like from the divine masculine standpoint of what it's like to come full circle and step into their truth and go share purpose? Well, stay tuned because I have a divine masculine that's going to share his story with you. Let's go. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Harmony. I'm a twin flame expert helping twin flames around the globe face fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Welcome to my weekly Glow Show. Today's topic, we're going to hear from a divine masculine how he's been coming into harmony with himself, aligning with purpose, and from his perspective, kind of coming full circle, basically, because you guys have heard me talk a lot about this full circle with ourselves and coming into the relationship harmony of ourselves and aligning with our purpose and our missions and being able to connect with our highest good, basically, and start to create more of a heart-centered life and be able to then do more of the things that we love. And most of everyone out there, right now is really working on that, but a lot of the divine feminine tends to be more connected with themselves than the masculine side. So today I have a surprise and a nice treat for you. Chance has come in from the divine masculine side to share his full circle story of how he's found some harmony within himself to create more of a heart-centered life, to connect with purpose. And so thank you, Chance, for showing up today.
Thanks for having me.
It's so excited to have you here. So let me just start, Chance. I feel like I know you from our first interaction.
Right.
So this is pretty cool to be able to actually have communication for the first time. But I want to give just a little review, not just for a reminder of my audience of what a twin flame journey is all about, but also for you because this is our first kind of connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
To just share. So I just want to remind everyone that, when it comes to the twin flame journey, this is a personal journey about personal development, about transformation, about finding personal freedom so you can unlock your best self to where you can align with your highest divinity, your highest purpose, and eventually your highest divine partner of this lifetime. And so basically within that aspect, then, twin flames are teachers. They're nothing more than the mirror reflection of looking within yourself to learn in their reflection what it is you need to work on yourself to find that harmony within. And so, as we do that, what tends to happen is when they first come together is there tends to be an imbalance in the masculine and the feminine energies. So most of the feminine counterparts, as myself, is very dominant, masculine dominant. Most of the masculine counterparts are very feminine dominant, are more dominant and feminine. So it becomes then, to balance that out, that reflection comes, how within yourself can you create harmony? How can you come balance with your own masculine, your own feminine? And then within that, create this role reversal, which is relationship harmony in yourself. And in that reflection, be open enough without going through the runner-chaser dynamics of this push-pull karmic purge that's really puts us through individual personal challenges as a couple might come together, see the reflection, go apart, go clear it. And so the goal in that's to find the personal freedom within yourself. And so you can create, at the end of the day, more confidence, more courage, more personal empowerment, to be able to go out there and live that heart-centered life and to bring in your purpose and your mission into form, which the real kind of mission of Twin Flames is really more, it's self-love and about how we can teach others to do the same. So with all that being said, Chance, I know it's a lot. I just wanted you to understand my background and what I teach, because there's so much controversy out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I don't even know really where you are in that. But I would love for you to share with my audience kind of a little bit about your journey, how you worked on yourself and how you've used the mirror reflections for your own personal development. And then let's just start with that and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a long journey. I'll say that much. It's been I would say where all of this started, it was probably 10 years ago. I had some family issues. Basically my family broke apart in a sense. And so it started more of a downward spiral. Then 7 years ago, I started my own business. I own a gym, and I have a business partner. When we first started that, like I dove into it 100%. All of my thought, effort, everything went into that. It was kind of like a sidetrack. It kept me focused on that instead of me. And with that, my business partner was always more of the dominant person. I was always more of the passive person. So I just kind of went with the flow. And I always saw myself as just a piece to the puzzle, not actually a major player. Even though it was my business, I just didn't see it that way. And I went for that way for years. I think it was three years of that thought process, 100%, didn't even question it, whatever it may be. So 3 years into business, we had a client come in who ended up, at first, honestly, didn't like her. This is Michelle. I did not like her. Annoyed the hell out of me. But what I know, right? And now I understand it. And at first, like for the first probably 6 months, we didn't talk that much. She trained with my business partner. I trained her friend, and so we were close in that sense, but that was it. The changing point was, and it's one of those things that I'll always count it as like a life-changing moment. We went to, I had bought tickets to a music festival. It's called the Electric Daisy Carnival. It's like one of the biggest festivals in the country. I had bought tickets, and my business partner was supposed to go with me, and he backed out last minute. So she said she would go. And what's funny is, like, I literally sat her down, and I was like, look, these are my ground rules. This is my trip. You can go if you want. Let's go, but you have to follow these rules. That trip was.
I'm hearing this story from the other side.
Right? And so it was, I always laugh about it. And it was one of those things where we went on this trip, and it was life-changing, like thought process, philosophy. Like we talked a lot. We became friends. I actually was like, oh, you can be my friend. And so that kind of changed our dynamic. And I don't know if it was that or if it was just a friendship or what it was, but we, like, from that moment on, like, life philosophy became most of our conversation topics. From my business, like, she was a big player just in, like, helping me, but also just like our life thought processes. She was, going through her stuff, and I always felt like a life coach in a sense. I don't know why. Like, I had never thought about stuff like that before necessarily, but I was always there wanting to, like, offer advice or try to get her to change her mindset or whatever it may be. And that just evolved for then on pretty much. And it's been, I guess, 4.5 years now of that, that kind of stuff. And as we went through that, we've gotten more in tune with twin flame type stuff. Just the different spiritual side of things, through both, like, what she's done, but also, like, my own education and study and everything else and experience. So as we went through all of that, like, a lot of what I was telling her, I started to see that there was advice I could take myself, And I think on the flip side, like, she was a big player of, like, building me up and helping me get back that confidence of not being so passive in the business or in my life, and understanding that I have skill sets and I have the power to be more of the center of attention or the center of the business or the center of whatever, and do bigger things. And so, like, I think it was that back and forth of, having somebody there to say, hey, you can do this, and you should do this, and you should try this, but also giving the advice that I gave to her, and then seeing, like, oh, wait, I could use that too. Like, I could apply that too. That was the biggest part of my transformation and continual growth.
Okay, so it sounds like you have done a lot of definitely personal development on yourself, a lot of personal growth, and even just hearing you speak, I can tell you get that concept, because a lot of times, people don't have a full understanding of that twin flame journey, or they don't get all of the spiritual full awakening. But it's at the end of the day, we don't all have to speak the same language, but we all get the same concept. I always tell people not everybody's meant to be like some spiritual guru in this. We all have a piece in this puzzle, and sometimes those roles are different. But it sounds like you experienced everything down to, the family dynamic that tends to be a part of this too, because it's about every relationship, down to even the relationship with your business partner. So that's where it has to do with harmonizing yourself. All of those relationships start to harmonize. So can you share with us how you've now started making that transformation in yourself, how that's rippled out into like all of these other relationships, and how you've managed to change things with family, with your business, find, within your own empowerment, because this is the role reversal we're talking about of the empowerment.
Yeah.
You were more passive. Now you're becoming not necessarily dominant, but you're becoming more empowered, really, and coming from that point of life. So can you talk about that now?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the different relationships, the first and the most powerful was my family and my parents. The big rift was they went through a divorce when I was 22, 23. For most of that time, I was the pacifier. I heard from both sides. I bottled everything up. I never wanted to let out my emotion on it, because I felt like they're the ones going through the hard time. It wasn't fair for me to be sad or upset or mad or whatever. And then also the other side is in my mind, I had to be no emotion, tough guy, be the center to hold everything together, or be the piece that says, I'll take all the pain so you all can heal type thing. But in the long run, what I found out was it made me resent more than anything. So as I grew and understood this and started to see these things, one big thing that I did was I started to speak more about my feelings and honestly process those feelings. Processing was first, speaking was second. So I allowed myself to feel and understand those things that I had buried away for so many years, but then also was portraying that to each parent. So one of my big steps, and this was a little over a year ago, I wrote each of them a letter, and I told them everything. I told them I was mad. I told them why I was mad at them. I told them how I felt and how it went down in my eyes and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, I still saw them as my parents, and I understood I want you to be happy. So I'm saying this to get us back on track. Because honestly, through that whole 7-8 years of post divorce, the relationships with my parents were hurt. Growing up, we were super close. After the divorce, we were very, very distant. Not to say I didn't talk to him all the time, but when we talked, there was this wall, and it was either we didn't talk or there was arguing. So being able to tell them and release all of that stuff that I was holding in, and be able to be more assertive with, these are my feelings, this is how I felt, this is why I felt that way, you need to know this. It started to basically, I want to say, heal our relationships back to normal.
Yeah.
And it took work on their side too. Don't get me wrong. I know when I wrote the letter to my dad, he was very offended at first, because he was like, "Well, why were you mad at me? Why didn't you tell me?" So it was something for him to kind of sit down and take in. But once that was, and we could talk it out, it healed a lot.
So it sounds like in this healing process, then it kind of leads into the other part of this, where it's that open heart. And what tends to happen is people go through these issues and all this pain, and they put things under the rug, and especially the divine masculine, they don't want to talk about feelings. That's not manly, right?
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to suppress this, and I'm going to put it under the rug, and I'm going to let it builds up. But we all do this. But now it's about like purging that stuff out so that we can be more vulnerable, more open. But in the end of the day, it really opens our heart. Like it allows us to start to maybe set a loving boundary without the wall, because the wall comes in for protection, saying I'm hurt, so I'm going to put up a wall, and then that blocks everything in your life. So it sounds like you learned how to not only express it, to purge it, but then to also maybe a little bit more of a loving boundary so you could still be you and then be open to receive as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that was a big thing that I've noticed, especially in the past year, was being able to feel. You know, I was always an in the brain type person. I've validated everything based on, you know, logic. And it was one of those things, like, just like with the parents, like, you shouldn't feel this way because it could always be worse, or, you know, whatever. But once I was able to shut my brain down and come more to, okay, this is how you feel, like this is just what it is. So let's deal with that. Let's handle that. Let's, you know, express that. It's changed a lot in my life.
Wow.
In that sense.
What you're describing, because I teach clients this, that you move from head logic to heart language.
Yes, exactly.
That's kind of how I describe it. And that's when you become that's when you open the heart. That creates more of the heart-centered life that allows you then to tap into all the things that you love. And like, for instance, say with you, with your purpose, can you talk about that now, how now that you've got more of the open heart with that and you've purged some of that pain, how you've managed to put that more into purpose and do more of what you love from empowerment and expression, which is the perfect balance of self-love, is when you come into being able to be personally empowered plus being able to express yourself. That's your masculine and your feminine. So when you can kind of do both of those, that's that role reversal I'm talking about, where you're coming into harmony in that relationship with yourself. So it sounds like you're definitely doing that, which I was feeling that you were. You kind of like had mapped out here. And so now that you're coming into that harmony with yourself in this full circle, how's that portraying out to other things, areas in your life with what you like?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, it's helping me realize more of what's passion versus what's necessity. Not to say, like, business-wise has always been my passion, like the gym and fitness and all of that, but it's more getting into the details of it. It was always, I just did what was needed to be done because that was my worth or that was my value, not what I wanted to do. I've honestly, in the 7 years of business, I've put a lot of personal goals aside because I felt like I needed to do these other things instead. But now, like, I've come to the point where I understand what my passion is, you know, how I want to help people, you know, both fitness and mental and spiritual, you know, all those things, like, and I feel like I attract more of what I want to help, if that makes sense.
Totally.
So, you know,
the more you become what you want or what you are, the more you attract what you are too.
Right, exactly. And now I see myself attracting more people that come to me for, like, lifting weights, but they need more of kind of, honestly, like some of the similar things that I've went through, you know, opening the mind in that sense and opening the heart in that sense, and being more confident. You know, confidence, even though on the outside I've always seemed confident, like there's certain aspects of my life that are just not, you know, self. And I think that's why I was always passive, because I felt like what my true instinct was not right.
Would you say your confidence has gotten stronger then through this process?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. It's not, I mean, it's not 100% there, but it's so much better. And I
your value, like you mentioned, because so many of the divine masculine, they tend to not be worthy even of love or different other, you know, anything. Now, we all can be that way, but they tend to really not feel worthy on some level.
Oh, yeah.
Hear about that?
Yeah, that was always my biggest issue, was my self-worth. You know, I have for so long, like I said, when it came to what my ideas were or my feelings about what a business or whatever, the decisions that were made, if it, like, I would always suppress my ideas or my thoughts about what we should do next because I didn't think it was right or I didn't think it was good enough. The same with like monetary gain from business or whatever it may be. I always kept myself taking less money because I wanted to be humble and I felt I should be humble, but also like I think deep down, like I didn't think I was worth more. It was more than I would have ever made that I had ever made in a previous job, but I didn't think I was worth that. And so the same with like personal goals, like writing's a big thing for me. Like I've for the past like 3-4 years, I've really enjoyed it. And I've started and stopped blogs like 10 times. And every time I stopped, it was because I didn't think it was worth anything. So I put my energy and my effort back into something else. And so in
about your book that's out and talk
about
because I'd love to hear about that because that's powerful stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of that was a big factor both in expressing these things that I learned, but also helping me learn them. So I guess it's been about 8 months now. 8 months ago, I published a book. It's called Thoughts of a BullBird. And basically what it is stories from my life, like experiences, and the lessons that those experiences taught me. So a BullBird is actually a character that a friend made up. Like I wanted a logo for my powerlifting team, and my whole philosophy in life is like be yourself, don't take life too seriously. It's supposed to be fun, and too many people I think try to do what is serious and what society expects. So I was talking to him about that. And he came up with this idea of the BullBird because apparently BullBird, I just haven't heard this, but a BullBird is a word that people say instead of bullshit. So he's like, it's like a joke, And so what's funny though is to me, like when I saw the logo, I loved it because I'm a Taurus, so the bull, but then it has wings. And, to me, that's like you can do whatever you want, fly away, So it fit perfect for me. So I kind of took that and ran with it, and it's been like my logo ever since. and it fits my philosophy. So, that's why I came down with, Thoughts of a BullBird. So writing the book, I was reliving all of these experiences. And a lot of my childhood stuff, it made me realize that, like, those were things that were inside of me, like confidence and, being myself and doing what I chose, want to do and having fun with it. And I let those things go. And then, I wrote about like my parents and I wrote about the divorce and I wrote about business and all of those things and reliving those experiences. Like I started to learn the actual feelings, I started to feel again. So I think that was a big, big aspect of starting to open up my heart and, feel and relive and experience and, process all of that. And through that process, I realized how much I did enjoy writing and how it is a big piece. So gaining that confidence, with the time frame, writing the book, publishing the book, I've started to say, okay, I am going to dedicate time to this because it is worth it, because it is valuable, because somebody out there, will use this. So now I keep my blog going, and I at least post every other week.
Can you tell the people where they can find your blog?
Yeah, it's BullBird.net. So BullBird.net.
Okay, perfect. Because I know that this is powerful stuff. This is what people need to hear, and they need to hear it from a masculine.
Right.
Which is why we're here, right?
Right.
Do you have your book there, or where can they find your book?
Yeah. So it's published through Amazon, and so it's on Amazon. You could just search Thoughts of a BullBird.
I'll make sure to put links below.
Yeah. And there's a link on my website, BullBird.net. There's a link to the book as well. So.
Okay. We'll make sure to have links below for you guys to just go down below and click on it. So that's very powerful stuff. It sounds like how has your everyday life changed now that you've come into more of this? How do you see yourself expanding on all of this with your purpose and life and love and things like that within the things you love to do, passion?
Everything that I do now, like there's more of a reason behind it versus and a personal reason, not so much I just have to do this type thing. I find myself dedicating more time on a daily and weekly basis to the things that are my passions. So I write more. I spend more time, like in the gym. I spend more time with the clients, like my powerlifting team. That's more of my passion when it comes to fitness.
I wish you were closer. I'm looking for a new
right. Oh man, you just have to come. You just have to come visit.
Yeah, I will be. So when I do come visit, I'll definitely come to your gym.
There we go. So yeah, I mean, those are those things like, and I don't question as much. I used to, if I was spending an hour writing for my blog, I was questioning, well, should I be doing this? Like, I could be doing something else for the gym, or what are my coworkers going to think, or what are my employees going to think because I'm not there for that hour. But now, like, I understand that this is worth something. This is valuable to me, and it's valuable to somebody out there. I know it is. So now it's more of like, yeah, I deserve this hour to write, and it's going to help somewhere. And the gym's still running, it's still functioning. And I'm there plenty. So,
Something you just said, like, I'd like to ask you your opinion on this too. So many people are so worried about stepping out and sharing their voice, or even just being on a twin flame journey, or the list could go on, but they're afraid of what they're gonna think. They're afraid of what, can you share with the audience how you kind of overcome some of this, what people think, and moved out there with this voice, with not like worrying about what people think?
Yeah, absolutely. Growing up, like, and my whole life, like, I've always been one that just didn't care about so much what people thought of me. So, like, I dressed really weird in college, and like, I always got made fun of. But it never bothered me that much. Yes, exactly. That's right. That's right.
I always tell people to believe in a twin flame journey, you have to believe in unicorns. And I did a video on that, and Chance here sent in a video that I shared that day with him dressed up as a unicorn.
Yes. Yeah, and so like that's the thing. Like, my closest friends, like, the way we show love to each other is we make fun of each other. Like, we've always been that way. So I'm pretty immune to people like judging me, which is fine. But what was always an issue more so was thinking that people thought I wasn't doing a good job at something. So that's why, like, in my business or at the gym, like, I was always tried to work more, make sure I was working more than everyone else, because I wanted to be the one that nobody could say, oh, he doesn't work enough, or, oh, look at him, he's out for lunch, whatever. But it's come to the point where two things. I've realized that I'm not skipping out and letting the business fail. I'm just taking my deserved time. But I'm also doing things that are meaningful and valuable to my life. So I'm not just wasting time. But also, like, one big thing that helped me was I sat down and looked at what everybody else did, like my employees, my business partner, and they all take their time. They have families, and they, spouses or whatever, and they take days off to go do something with them, or they don't work weekends, or they, leave early to have a date, and that's okay. And I'm okay with that. So if I'm okay with that, then I have to be okay with understanding that they're okay that I do that,
Yeah.
So.
Wow, that's powerful. I'm so, like, proud of you from a distance, seeing.
Well, thank you.
In your journey. I mean, this is not an easy journey, and coming at it from the masculine side, sometimes the feminine think they have it bad on one side, but the key is here. It's not about the feminine or the masculine. It is just what it is, and that we're all here in this journey, and it's tough no matter what. And the more we can go inspire people, I always tell people, the more you can step out of your own hell, your own shit, your own circumstances, and go put your pain into purpose and do something with that pain, the more you will get out of your situation, and the more you'll find the passion to go do what you love and become an inspiration and go out there and inspire other people. And you are doing that. So I couldn't be more for you. And again, I just want to thank you for showing up here today. But do you have any final messages you'd like to share, just as a thought with the audience, as to any final words of advice?
Yeah, the biggest piece of advice I can give that helped me the most is just be open. Be open to different thought processes. be open to what comes into your life. To me, I believe everything that happens and every person that comes in your life is for a purpose, whether it's short-lived or long-lived. So be aware and be open and try to do your best to just think outside the box of what is their purpose, what is that reason for that event, or what is the reason for that person, versus getting so entranced in the actual event itself and being, sucked into that spiral. I used to live, like, my life in college. I was always, oh, this bad thing happened. Why did it happen? It's crap, blah, 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 and get all mad about it. But now I've come to understand that, like, something happens, there's a grander purpose for it. And there's something I can take out of that, whether it's good or bad or whatever it may be. So it's more open, both visually and, seeing everything, but also mind-wise, try to give into new ideas and stuff.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, that's what I teach my clients. And I'm saying over and over, stay open to everything, attached to nothing.
Right.
The minute we attach to it, that's when we get sucked in that negative word.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of talking about, we get back into our head, and then we kind of have to go into an inner battle that we have to surrender to. And at the end of the day, it's all really too about trusting this process and to know and kind of sign up for a journey. And that inner journey, it's just about us becoming in alignment with the best part of that. And when we can trust and align with that, then everything we need for it will show up. Right?
Right.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And so I'm just going to close out here with my audience. So may you guys always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Make sure to like, comment, share the shine, and I hope you have enjoyed this message that Chance has. Namaste.